Are you ready for the Pats Nation? The only real deal Patriot postgame show. And now, CORSO and CATONE.
Welcome into the Pats Nation, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching. Chris Corso sitting right over there is Mark Catone. Joe Guarnieri will be joining us as well. And we are presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England Field, Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern. Week 18 sees the Patriots in a real crap performance go down to the Dolphins again in South Florida, 27-24. And Mark, you know, it's just so difficult to keep watching them go down to Miami, right?
33-24. You forgot the crap touchdown at the end.
That last touchdown. I'm sorry. That's when
sorry. I wouldn't count it either.
Hey, listen, it gets to the point where I'm so pissed off. I'm not even like paying attention that much anymore, you know? So, well, listen, you can catch us live right now on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, give us that thumbs up. And look, Joe's got the live chat open, so we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you think about this pitiful performance by this team. Look, it's agenda-free. This is the last week of the season, of the regular season, so we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you think about them, about the playoff matchups, what you think will happen. So catch us live on YouTube. You can also catch us live on Podbean. And check us out on Twitter at @Corso_Catone, at @Corso_Catone. Give us a call. Leave us that message if you want. 313-855-313-7287, 855-313-PATS. Got a lot here to talk about on Wrap, including MAC-MANIA, our Coach's Corner, and, of course, Sunday Stiff, which probably is going to be difficult to do today. Mark, you know. Let's hear it, Mark. What's your initial take on this one?
Chris, it was an awful performance.
Yeah.
Chris, it wasn't even
hard to think otherwise.
Chris, but you can't even say it was one part of the game or one part. It was offense, it was defense, it was special teams, it was coaching, it was everything you could possibly think of. They were bad at, Chris. You can't say, oh, well, you know, the defense, they lost because of the defense. The offense played well. Or the defense played well. The offense didn't play well. They were bad in all phases.
For the last month.
All phases they were bad today, Chris. It was just, you're going into the playoffs on this performance. It's not good. Not good. Listen, Chris, well, we'll get into that in a little bit. But listen, they're not going anywhere. Come on. Let's not fool ourselves.
Well, let's get into the first poor performance in Mac Jones. So let's get to MAC-MANIA right now, Joe.
MAC-MANIA!
20 of 30, 261 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 costly, bad interception for a pick 6. And Mark, listen, I thought his performance was bad today. Bad. And it's another game where he brings them back in the second half, and you keep seeing that silver lining that says, hey, when he's down, he's not out. He still tries to bring them back. But it's a bad performance. And he put the ball on the ground once on the 10-yard line when they were going in. So to me, I mean, I don't know I think you could say it's his worst game, not statistically. And I know what you'll say about the percentage and the quarterback rating and all that nonsense. But when it comes to the eye test and it comes to what happened on that field, he coughed up the ball twice and gave them a touchdown. Has to be his worst performance, no?
No, it was. It was his worst performance, Chris. It was. We knew it was going to be tough, Chris. We talked about that yesterday on CORSO and Catone. We said that Flores was going to do some things to try to confuse him, show him some different looks, different coverages, different packages. He did that, and he did. I think he was confused, Chris. And the fact that you have the lack of playmakers and the lack of receivers on this team, and the fact in week 17 you don't know what you're running for a route as a receiver.
You got Aguilar and we'll get into that. Into each other.
We'll get into that when we talk about the offense, Chris, as a whole. But when that's happening in week 17, Chris, I mean, come on. I mean, so that doesn't help him either. But yes, Chris, this was his worst performance. Listen, Chris, today he looked like a rookie. Okay, he looked like a rookie. He made rookie mistakes. The pick six was a bad play, but then you saw him talking to Myers on the sidelines. So I don't know. Did Myers run the wrong route? Who knows?
It wasn't
Chris?
sharp.
I don't know.
I can tell you that.
I don't know.
You know, I looked at it again. It wasn't a sharp route, I can say. So if it was supposed to be a comeback route, or it was supposed to be a intermediate out route to the sidelines, he rounded it. It wasn't, he didn't put a move on. He didn't give a little dip inside with his shoulder. So yeah, I mean, you got to put something on Myers too on that, but he threw the ball inside, which you never want to do on an out. You never want to do it on the back shoulder or a comeback route. Ball needs to be to the sideline. And it wasn't. It was inside, and he took it the other way. It's an easy interception for Howard. Easy. That's the easiest pick six he'll ever have in his life. Okay. And the other thing I don't like about what he did today, a couple of things. Again, I've been mentioning this about the intangibles at quarterback, how you run that huddle, how you take care of that, obviously take care of the ball, but how you handle what you're seeing. Again, he reverted back to some of these issues of not that pressure look, they brought pressure off the edge all day long, and those fat asses on the outside in Brown and Wynn, who went out.
Well, your buddy went out with the ankle injury.
Right. Then Haran came on rather than Anua, and he was just as bad. So you can say all night they put pressure on him. He didn't have time. But there were times he didn't take care of his man on the blitz. And also, real quick, the 4th down and 1. And we'll get into the coach's corner, the decision.
That's on the coach.
But the 4th down and 1, I hate any time a quarterback won't bring his team into the huddle, okay, then break the huddle when the officials are ready. He's got them on the line of scrimmage. They're all standing there, and the official's standing there waiting to call play going. And why not in the huddle? You know who has them in the huddle to the last second. Why give the defense any chance to understand what's going on? That kind of stuff really irritates me. That's the rookie stuff, Mark.
All right. Yeah. No,
So,
I'm not going to argue with you there, Chris. I agree with you. But when we get into coach's corner, I am going to talk about that play.
You're right. And you're going to be right.
I'm going to talk about that
1000%.
play. But no, I agree with you, Chris. Those are rookie mistakes, Chris. Today, he looked like a rookie. He played against a veteran defensive coordinator, who Flores is, even though he's the head coach. And he looked like a rookie today, right? He did. So, what are you gonna, there's nothing else you can say. This was his worst performance probably of the year. Didn't look good, played bad. And then again, like you said, he teases you by bringing you back late. But
he better clean it up before next week, and I'm not sure he can. But MAC-MANIA was presented by Special Sauce
Chris, what do you give him for a grade today?
Oh, you got to give him a failing grade.
All right.
You have to.
You give him what, a D, F?
Whatever failing is, man, in this day and age, you give it to him,
right.
because he coughed up the ball on the 10-yard line going in, and he threw a pick six. Over. Done.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I agree with you. He got a failing grade today. Definitely got a failing grade today. I totally agree with you.
Day and age, he gets a trophy for that. Everybody gets a trophy.
Everybody gets a sticker.
There you go, Joe. That's right.
Everyone gets a star.
Yeah.
MAC-MANIA presented by Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce? SpecialSaucePodcast.com. Mark, let's talk about the pressure that he was seeing today. How much of, because you got to put it on the offensive line. Talk to me about what you think of, of that.
Well, Chris,
and I'll look up the sack totals for them.
Look up the total.
While you're,
Chris, again, Chris, I don't understand who the offensive line coach is, what Belichick's role is this year in the offensive line. They just, Chris, they can't pick anything up. It doesn't seem like they communicate anywhere well
Not
enough.
That well.
And Chris, is that Andrews' fault? Is he supposed to be the captain out there on that offensive line? I don't know, but they don't communicate, Chris. There's obvious times where somebody's supposed to shift, pick somebody up. They're not communicating. It's obvious, and they look really bad. Then some of the plays, Chris, it's just a lack of skill at these positions. The footwork, the technique, it's just, it's bad. Usually a Belichick coach team, at least technique-wise, Chris, would get better as the year went on. This offensive line has not getting any better. And I'm not saying communicating. No, they haven't. But just technique-wise, Chris, footwork, things that you would think would after week 17 you'd get better at. Nothing.
And you're right. And also there's a couple of plays I look at and go back to when I look at the offensive line. Yeah, it's Andrews, it's the front trying to set the protection, but it's also Mac Jones trying to set the protection for them too. Yeah. Pointing out the mic, identifying some guys, identifying pressure, changing the snap count, getting out of things. I mean, Christ, Mike, you know what? They're coming late on pressure. They're bringing guys off the edge, showing that late. You got to stop things, slow things
Chris,
down,
let me ask you a
change
question.
it up, man.
But Chris, let me ask you a question. How many rookies can do all that?
No, not many. I'm not. Look, I'm not.
No. I'm just saying. At some point, Chris, I think as an offensive coordinator and a head coach, at some point you
gotta make it easier for
you.
him.
Got to figure out a way to make this a little bit simpler for the kid.
Yeah.
If you're going into a playoffs, right? Because I mean, come on, no rookie is even Brady is a rookie. He was on the bench. He didn't play. He was sitting watching all of this happen, and then he had an off season to absorb it all and try to understand it before he went into another year. And he didn't even start out as the starter the second year.
I'm not saying you don't forgive it. I'm just saying that
I'm just saying
I
agree with you that it's a mistake on the quarterback. He's gonna identify that. But at some point, they've got to help him too and put him in a position where maybe he doesn't have to make as many of those reads and understandings, Chris. I mean, as it is, the kid's absorbed an awful lot with this offense.
The offensive line, the tackles they have on this team, their footwork is poor. It's not good. Look, when that sack came on a little twist where the defensive end started up and came around Brown to the inside, and Brown just couldn't get back. He couldn't just back to the inside. Even to just wall him off, he couldn't do it. And so the tackles are an issue. That's been an issue, especially when you're dealing with edge. But I agree with
Chris,
you with the coaching.
We've talked about Wynn's footwork all year. All year we've talked about Wynn. All year.
And I don't know what the decision was to go with Haran instead.
But then they put the other kid in, though, Chris. They put Owenu in after. Haran was in for a little bit, and then they took him out because, like to your point, he just got beat.
They had two sacks, 4 tackles for losses. The Miami did. So that just showed the offensive line again. And to not even I don't even have the stat of how many pressures they had.
He was under pressure.
He was under pressure all day long. And I didn't think they ran enough screen. I thought they were successful when they went to the edge. When they got out to the edge, like usual, like we've seen, they had some success. Why they didn't bubble their running backs out to the outside more? Mac Jones missed a complete touchdown. He threw to Jacoby Myers, on the inside, or Bourne. It was more towards the center of the field, and he had Stevenson wheeling out to the sidelines, wide open. He would have been still been running. So the protection wasn't good. It was, and the offensive line didn't play well. Again, they ran the ball well. So, the offensive line did well against them in running the ball. Let's see. They had Patriots rushed for, I think it was 134 yards, 2 touchdowns on 27 carries. And who led the way? It was kind of mixed up. Brandon Bolden had 46. Harris had 37. Stevenson had 34. Dodged the bullet, though, Mark, with Stevenson, didn't we?
You did, because if Stevenson, Chris, went out, you're going to need him. You're going to need him next week, because with Harris's injuries, Chris, I don't necessarily know if how many, he's still not 100% with that hamstring. He's running the ball and he's giving you bursts, but he's not going to be able to rush the ball 20, 25 times. So you're definitely going to need Stevenson. And Chris, to your point, what you were bringing up about the bubbling out and the screen game, it's week 17. I'm going to beat it. I'm 18. I'm sorry, week 18. And I'm going to beat a dead. I'm not going to say it on air. I had a few issues yesterday, but I'm going to beat it. I'm going to beat it. Chris, listen, what is their reasoning for not using or activating Jonathan Taylor? Chris,
Bolden's
listen.
playing well, though, Mark.
No, I know he is, Chris, but listen to me. Every once in a while, put the kid in as a change of pace. If you wheel him out and he catches one of those, Chris, he's got the potential to take it to the house for 50 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I'm not saying not use Bolden. Bolden's had a great fantastic year.
I'm saying that too.
No, I agree with you, Chris. But you don't think a change of pace?
I have less of a problem with that than I do with number one playing today.
I don't even want to address it.
Instead of Wilkinson.
But Chris Taylor, you couldn't use him in the punt game.
No, yeah, I agree. No, I'm with. Because Mark, we don't have to talk about the running backs. We're done with that. Gunner was terrible today.
Chris Gunner's been terrible the last 8 games.
He let that punt drop and rolled for another 13 yards, and it was a booming punt. It was like a 50.
Chris Gunner has been bad
all day long to get underneath that.
Chris Gunner's been bad for several games. That's why I don't understand why you don't give the kid Taylor a chance. It's okay. Okay, maybe he can't pick up blitz, but maybe he's not big enough to pick up, in blitz coverage. Okay,
they
fine.
should have kept Berrios.
We're not going to get into that today. But you mean to tell me Taylor can't help you in special teams with punt returns and kick returns? Come on.
I would imagine. I would think so.
And number one, why was number one active today?
We'll
get to that when we get to the receivers, because I got a few things to say
Well,
about
let's get to them now, because the damn friggin' receivers, okay, on this team continue to be the issue. Okay, they continue. Mark, Bourne and Aguilar ran into each other. I mean,
And I think that was on Bourne. I think that was on Aguilar, Chris. That wasn't Bourne. I think that was on Aguilar. If you watch the replay of what was going on, I think that was on Aguilar.
I've been trying to make
Mac
arguments.
Jones, Chris, is going like this to him.
Yeah, I've been trying to make arguments, okay, for Aguilar. I've been trying my best to fight against Mark about Aguilar and about, and even Mark did it too when he talked about, hey, he's freeing guys up when he's running those deeper routes and guys underneath and all that crap. And maybe did sort of at the end of this game. He's a bust. He's a friggin' bust. They paid him too much damn money, just like Jonnu Smith is a bust. They both suck. You're absolutely right. They do not have a 1. Period.
They haven't had one in years.
Since Moss.
Since
Randy Moss, they haven't
but
figured out how to draft a friggin' receiver.
See, but Belichick believes he doesn't need one of those guys because he had an offense predicated around a Hall of Fame quarterback and a Hall of Fame tight end and a running game. So he didn't need that. Well, you don't have a Hall of Fame tight end anymore. You don't have a Hall of Fame quarterback. And so yeah, you need, with a rookie quarterback, you need somebody that can open up the field for the rookie quarterback. And you don't have that. You don't have it. And you're going to have to get it.
And special teams, Mark. Everybody keeps, everybody's saying, Belichick, special teams. He was a special teams coach.
The special teams is the worst in football.
They're prided and they're known for their special teams. Mark, I told you about Gunner already. Okay, they almost had another one blocked today.
Chris, they're the worst in football. Their special teams.
The worst, most egregious thing was the offside when they were punting and gave him a first down. What do you think? You're going to block it? That friggin' guy's coming through the A gap, and he thinks he's going to block that punt? He hasn't blocked that punt since he was 4 years old.
Hey, Chris, and then what about the reaction of the coach? The special teams
he's throwing the thing. He's throwing his. He looks like a friggin' 4-year-old over there. He looks like a 4-year-old. He went and sat on the bench like this, crossed his arms, did all. I got microphones. I got friggin' earpieces coming out of my ear, Joe. I'm like sick about this right now. And you know what? He can throw his arms up in the air all he wants. You're responsible for them. You're responsible for these jackasses understanding what's going on. Situation.
Chris, it's week 18. Their special teams has been bad all year.
How do you get
long.
3 punts?
He's throwing his hands up in the air. He shouldn't even be allowed on the goddamn team plane. Come home. Let him take a bus home. Let him go get a bus. Let him go rip the bus and take it home. That's stiff. Special teams.
Agree.
They stink, Chris. The special teams stinks. The punter Bailey had a terrible year. He didn't have a good year. Other than the kicker, Chris Falk, other than the place kicker, he had a Pro Bowl year. The special teams has been putrid. Putrid.
I agree. And we got a chat in from Steven Vertucci. Did you read Cowherd's hot take on Big Ben? He didn't take care of himself, didn't win enough with the talent that he had, et cetera, et cetera. Brady's the new standard that we compare all quarterbacks to. That seems unfair. Listen, Steve, hang on to that thought. Hang on to that thought. When we finish up on the other side, when we finish up with the defense and before we get to the matchups, we're going to talk about that because you know what? He finished his career today. And you
he didn't finish his career. He's going to the playoffs.
Oh, he's going to the playoffs, right?
He's going to the playoffs.
He finished his regular season today, and you got to tip your cap to him on an 18-year career.
We'll talk about that in the second half.
We'll talk about that in the second half of the show, so stay tuned. Defense on the other side, Mark, right after this.
Special Sauce Podcast. You liking the song? The sauce is good, man.
This will start off as finance.
With your host, Marcus Aurelius.
Hey everybody, it's Marcus Aurelius here with Special Sauce Podcast. I'm pleased to announce we have an excellent guest.
Mike Sorkin of Immortal Seats. Mike Sorkin is one of the hardest working guys I know. And I got to tell you that his story is a very interesting one.
So tune in at our website, specialsaucepodcast.com. Go slow, take chances, be prosperous.
Back in with the Pats Nation, 33-24 is the final score down at Silk Beach, which is House of Horrors for us, Mark. A House of Horrors, no
Chris,
matter
I don't
who's playing
understand.
quarterback
Can I ask
for
you a
us.
question? The NFL is supposed to select these schedules and rotate games and schedules, and even within your division when you play teams. And how is it possible that we're in Miami every single December? Okay, this year's January. Okay, so we're gonna go down and play down there. It's hot, it's humid, it's December. Why don't they gonna come up in the cold once in a while in December and make the Southern team come? Not like that would be a little bit of equity and parity and fairness. Like, I don't even understand how they allow Goodell in the NFL. Like, no one says anything, like from the Kraft's office, that how is it that we're always in South Beach in December? I don't know of any other team schedule, Chris, that you're playing the same team every year.
Usually the Jets
December.
in Miami, right at the end of the season, typically. Right there, second to last game.
Yeah, I don't even know how it's possible, Chris.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe they're turning around saying, well, hey, would you rather go down to South Beach in September? I don't know. How about November?
Yeah, I would.
How about October?
Listen, I'll go down there in September. I don't care.
Mark,
But
how about October?
Every
How
once
about
in a while,
Yeah.
rotate it.
Yeah, how about the fact that you got to play Buffalo, basically back to back? You're playing your division
schedule.
Opponents. Yeah, you know what? You could say, well, they had
the
an easy
NFL
schedule,
came up
but
with
I
a
agree
shit
with
schedule this year.
Hey, for you conspiracy theorists out there, let's hear from you on that. Does Goodell still sticking it to the Patriots? Let us know what you think about that, Mark. As bad as the things we saw on offense,
well, Chris, I'm going to tell you something.
I mean, if you think this team's going anywhere in the playoffs based
listen,
on what you're seeing on defense,
listen, I know we switched topics because I know we got a lot to cover today, but I didn't even get into a quarter of what I wanted to say about the receivers. The receivers, Chris, are bad. They are. Let me tell you, Chris. They are.
Well, listen, you could do that when we get into matchups.
Chris,
you can talk
bad.
about why we're going to lose to those teams. You know what I mean? And our lack of talent. Yeah, they are bad, Mark. And Mark's been ringing that bell and banging that drum for 4 years. I mean, 4 or 5 years about the drafts. They can't evaluate receivers, Mark. I've never seen that, especially in this day and age. Holy crap! Just go to.
All you got to
SEC,
do is go to one.
Go
to one conference.
Right. Just take anybody from the SEC. Anyone. But Mark, the defense. Okay. I know what you were talking about during the game about the secondary. I got it. I understood. The secondary sucks. Okay. Miles Bryant was out, which may not be a bad thing, but you got to play Juwan Williams who sucks too.
Second round pick, Chris, by the way.
Did you see Juwan Williams try to break down and tackle Tua from getting that first down, which was an atrocious play by them? And not only does he screw that up, take a terrible lead foot, lead shoulder angle, his body's turned. Not only that, he ends up hitting Barmore who got taken out on a cart, Mark, at the end of
Did
this
they
game.
take him out on the cart?
They took him out on a cart.
Oh, so his knee's gone. He's done for the year.
So
Because
we'll
he had
see.
a knee going into the game, Chris.
And without him, well, look, let's talk about that because this is the only stat I want to, yeah, two is two. I mean, I still think he stinks. He was 15 of 22 for 109 yards and a touchdown. Big deal. Was that touchdown when was that touchdown? At the end? Did that touchdown they got to 33?
That was the waddle in the first half, Chris.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. So he had that touchdown. Whatever. I thought the secondary bounced back, played a little bit better. The tackling still sucks.
Yeah.
So if you want to get on the secondary, get on them in their run game and how they perform in helping out in the run game.
How many yards did they get running today?
And when they're called on to seal the edge, they can't do it either. 195 yards, Mark, and 1 touchdown on 43. They ran the ball 43 times. There was no secret to what this team was going to do. You know what that tells me? That Flores and company know what everybody else knows. We cannot stop the run. And it's been a problem all year long from the beginning of the season. Then there was a stretch where we played shit teams, and now we're seeing it again.
Chris, this has been a problem, for 3 years, since 2019. Since the last year Brady was here. That's been a problem for 3 years. We haven't addressed it. We haven't been able to seal the edge, and we haven't been able to stop the run in 3 years. Just to clarify.
And you know what? Duke Johnson, 25 carries for 117 yards and a touchdown. Who the hell is Duke Johnson? All of a sudden, Mark, talk about that for a second. Seriously.
Chris, listen. First of all, you want to talk about sealing the edge. Wise. The kid, wise. Oh, good God. Chris, he probably had one of the worst games of any defensive player all year, Chris. There was I counted at least 3 times. He went inside, even though the play was going outside, he jumped inside. It was like he was seeing ghosts. I don't know what he did. The guy, they go right around him. Late in the game, same thing. They went right. Van Noy takes a bad angle. Imbecile Wise follows behind him. Running back goes right around him. Outside, first down. 10, 15. Chris, why the outside? But never mind the rest of the defense. Just the edge that Wise was on, him and Van Noy, Chris, on that side of the line of scrimmage, it was all day long. They just exploited it all day.
And they tried some different things. You could see it because the whole defensive front was just getting had again, getting pushed around again. Okay, against guys like Duke Johnson, Lindsey. And their offensive line is not that good. Their offensive line is not a good offensive line.
Their offensive line is actually an issue for that.
We talked about this yesterday.
That's an issue for that team.
They didn't look at today. And to allow 200 yards rushing against this nonsense, it doesn't matter who you play in the playoffs. Forget it. You allow 200 yards rushing, it's over. Yeah. You're not even going to have a shot. And again, like I said, you said it too, the edge. Every single guy, including Judon, who's been invisible for over a month now, okay? Judon, Van Noy, Wise, Phillips, McCoy. Even when they brought McCourty up to seal the edge, it was disgusting.
McCourty belongs in a retirement home. He belongs in a retirement home, eating chocolates on a porch with a cold lemonade.
Mark, please explain to me how an NFL players on the defensive ends, outside linebackers, safeties. You explain how the first thing you learn when you're coming from the outside is to set the edge. The first thing, don't get too far past the quarterback upfield, okay? You got to gauge how the tight end or the tackle is blocking you, and that tells you the move you have to put on, whether it's an up move, a down move, a come around move, a 90-degree move, whatever it is. It's designed to push through and set the edge and be able to come off on either side and force that guy to cut up in. And then your linebackers come and help. What the hell is wrong with this team that they can't? Does anybody over there seeing this? Are you seeing Belichick on the sideline get these guys together and say, oh, nothing? It just keeps happening over and over again. How do you explain it? I don't know how to explain that to anybody.
Yeah, well, Chris, I think they've tried. I think they have. I just don't. I think it's to the point where it's a lack of talent. I mean, you've seen him in games huddle
It's
those guys up.
discipline. It's discipline.
It is.
It's
They
not
don't
nothing to do with talent. You taking an inside step when you shouldn't is not talent. It's stupidity. It's fundamentals. We are NFL football players, Mark.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. I find no excuse for not. Mark, you know what my big problem. That's the biggest thing I hate is the lack of ability to set the edge. Mark, talk about the inside linebackers right now.
Well, Chris, they talk about the inside linebackers. Bentley dropped an interception, even though I think there was a penalty on the play. Drops an interception. Collins, penalty on the play, of course. Ball right in his chest, drops an interception. They can't stop the run, Chris. They take bad angles. They were awful. They can't cover the underneath. Tight ends, running backs releasing out of the backfield, underneath throws. The inside linebackers, Chris, can't do. They can't do anything. They can't set anything. They can't identify anything. They can't read and identify, Chris. That's a problem. When your inside linebackers can't read and identify, or if they can read and identify, they take bad angles and don't understand what they're seeing.
And so, God forbid, God forbid the quarterback decides to step up in the pocket and take off. Oh, then you're really screwed because they can't chase anybody down.
No, Chris, they have absolutely no athleticism at all at that position. They don't have. Tell me one guy they've had in the last 3 years that can go sideline to sideline.
And you know what pisses me off? They've drafted Jennings, Perkins, Winovich, Uche, Bentley. These are the guys that they've brought, to say nothing about the guys that are gone now that they've drafted. These are guys that are on the team, and they're not good enough. Collins, they're not good enough, period. And when they decide, other teams decide to check down into the center of the field, it isn't even check downs anymore to the edges, if you notice. All teams' check downs against the Patriots are just on the other side of the line of scrimmage in the center of the field where the back sneaks out because the inside linebackers suck. And they're not doing the secondary any favors. You know, honestly, the lack of pressure, Judon disappearing, they're not doing them any favors, right, Mark? So,
Chris, Uche was on the field today. Uche actually looked lost. Like there was one play, Chris, and I was talking to you. I was on the phone with you when it happened, and I'm like, "What is he doing?" Like he was lost. It was a play to the outside. He was supposed to seal the edge, Chris. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know what his assignment was supposed to be. Nothing. Like you can't even put him on the field.
Mark, it's definitely a problem going forward.
But Chris, these guys weren't 6th and 7th round draft picks. You wasted 2 second-round picks, 3rd-round picks on these guys.
I know. This is a defensive guy. You should be able to evaluate linebackers. But Mark, I know you really, really want to get to Coach's Corner here. So let's do that now. We ready?
I'm ready.
Do it, Joe.
Coach's Corner.
Mark, go ahead.
Button wasn't pressed because they didn't want to be seen, the coaches, this time.
That's right. Yeah. That's what is that the delay? You know,
the delay. The button wouldn't go. I'm like,
listen to him coming up with excuse. He jumps in with an excuse, Mark, immediately.
No, it wasn't an excuse. It's like I'm clicking the button, and it's not going. I'm like, they don't want to be seen. The coaches know what's coming. They know.
It's not an excuse. It's an explanation.
You're right, Joe. They know what's coming today.
Coming.
All right. Mark, go ahead. Because you've been, the whole game, you should have heard
Chris,
him.
Listen, first of all, where do you want me to stop?
Yeah.
All right. So coaching, good Lord. Belichick, Chris, first of all, I don't even know what his game plan was today on both sides of the ball. I just don't. I don't know what it was. I would have came up. Flores knows what you do. Obviously, you know that. So come up with something different that maybe Flores isn't expecting to see out of you. Something. I don't know. Go no huddle. Go 5 wide, 4 wide. Do something different, Chris, to mix it up. Even because give the playoff teams you're playing next something else to look at on film. Something. I understand your receivers absolutely suck. They suck. But at least put somebody out. Do something different, Chris. He sits there. If he takes that goddamn pencil out of his ear one more time, what's he writing on the pad? We suck. We suck. What, Belichick, buddy, you're 107 years old. Put the pencil away. Get off the sidelines. That's what I think about the coaching today. That's what I think about it. Get him off the sidelines.
There goes the New Year's resolution, Joe.
Oh, it's gone. Today it's gone.
That's it. We'll talk about the
special
fourth.
teams coach. The special teams coach should have to take. He should have to take a bicycle back to New England.
He behaved like a 4-year-old on the sideline. He behaved
should take a
like a
bicycle back.
4-year-old on that sideline today. You know, instead of throwing your hands up again, why don't you in practice start teaching these guys situational football?
Let me ask you a
Try
question.
that, which they're supposed to be the gurus of
I'm gonna
situational
let you
footballs,
speak to
right?
this, Chris. I'm going to let you speak to this. How is it possible, 4th and inches before the half, you're getting the ball to start the second half at midfield? Explain to me why? What did the coaches do there? Because that wasn't on Mac Jones, I don't believe.
No. Some of the argument, I guess, back to that will be, well, you're getting the ball first. Why screw around? Give them the ball at midfield. Now they get another score when we're getting the ball coming out of the locker room. I'm sure that's the thought process that went into it. And I understand that. But it's 4th and inches. He went a QB sneak inch. Look, you're already in the playoffs. You're already in. It's just a matter of, can we win the division or not? And anybody who thinks that the Jets were going to pull that game out today, think again. Okay, think again. So no, you have to go for it there. You got guys and I don't like the whole analytics, and I don't think this was an analytical issue. I think this was, we got some momentum on offense. I think we can push this ball into the center and get the half inches that you need. You have to go for it there. You have to. It changes the game, Mark, if you do that.
Chris, not only that, what does that show your confidence in Mac Jones?
It doesn't show any. If anything, it doesn't show confidence in your defense, because if you're worried about giving them the ball on the 50-yard line, that means you have no faith that your defense is going to stop
You're
them.
right, Chris. You have no faith in your defense. But on the flip side of that, let's forget about that. And I don't want to. I hate to keep bringing up the same point, but if number 12 was there,
he calls it himself.
He calls it himself, Chris.
But Mark, all that nonsense they were doing with the moon, the thing, get on the line of scrimmage. I mean, Mark, it's and the other coaching issues are Harry playing it all, and 2, not understanding that there was going to be a fake punt there. Bring them all up. Flores doesn't want to punt. He's not going to punt in this game. They were going to be a fake punt on that. I called it. You called it. Everyone could see it coming. So bring everybody up and play for that and let the ball be punted and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? I've seen Belichick do that before. The situational football that he prides himself on was non-existent today. It didn't happen. Didn't exist. And some of the defensive teams I saw, some of the defensive pushes, terrible. And maybe he's just not confident in the secondary. And I don't know what the hell he's thinking anymore. Okay, but they're exposed. They've been exposed. And the coaching has been exposed, period. They want Gerard Mayo to be the coach of Denver. Denver's looking at him as a head coach. Mark, what's the biggest weakness on the defense?
The linebackers.
And in the inside, right?
The inside. And Chris,
he's the inside linebacker coach.
And the fact that they haven't shown any improvement. I mean, it's a combination of things, Chris. I mean, you can't polish a sneaker either. I mean, okay, yeah, they should show some improvement, or at least they should be able to understand things that they're seeing and react a little bit differently based on coaching. So yeah, okay, Mayo's maybe not giving them that type of coaching, but then on the other hand, Chris, they have absolutely no talent on the field at that position, no talent whatsoever. So at some point, who put that talent on the field has to be addressed.
It does. So,
and I understand it's week 18, and we're not going to get into who put the talent on the field at this point. Now it's about, hey, can we win games? We got a playoff game to get ready for. But at some point, Jesus, I mean, come on.
Well, they better clean it up in the coach's room. So, Coach's Corner was presented by Jag Media Productions. Mark, quickly, our Sunday Stiff. Let's have it. Sunday Stiff. Are you ready this time? Mark, quick fast.
Pull me out,
Sunday
boy.
stiff today.
Quick, fast, Chris. It could have been a multitude of people. It could have been Mac Jones. Could have been Wise. It could have been a multitude
Coaches.
of people. Coach, I'm going to go with the coaches.
Yeah.
Okay. It's week 18, and I'm going to put it on Belichick. He's my Sunday stiff. He put this coaching staff together. Okay. He's the one who put the staff together. He's the one who's put them in these positions. They didn't go for it on 4th and inches. That's on him. That ain't on any other coach. My Sunday stiff is Belichick, the coaching staff in general, but Belichick is my Sunday stiff today. Because, Chris, the last 4 weeks, it's almost like they're not even prepared properly.
Yeah.
These other teams are ready to go and fired up. And
They
it's like
they play 3 bad quarters and they're always good in the 4th. Okay.
come on.
Yeah. So Sunday Stiff was presented by CORSO Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm, corsolawgroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. Before we get to break, let's address what
Chris, who's your Sunday stiff?
Oh, I'm sorry. Mac Jones. Mac Jones, period.
All right.
Turn the ball over twice.
And we
You give him
talked about
6
that.
points. That's it. Mac Jones. Easy pick today. So again, I want to get to that chat in. I'm sure Steven has been patiently waiting. So he's talking about Cowherd made a comment about Ben Roethlisberger, saying that he didn't take good care of himself like Brady. Was comparing to how Brady does it is how everybody should do it. And since he didn't take care of himself, that's why he didn't win as much. That's why he wasn't as durable down the stretch. On and on and on. That he should have won more. That he had a lot of talent. He had athletic ability coming out of college, and that he relied on that too much. You know, the Willis Reed type of guy that he exaggerated injuries, then come out of the locker room running, hey, everybody's cheering. I overcame an injury. So, Mark, do you put any? You think Cowherd's too harsh? I mean, what do you think here?
Well, I think, Chris, the
comparison to Brady,
the whole Willis Reed thing. Yeah, he did do a little bit of that Willis Reed type of stuff. I think that was part of him, right? Okay, whatever. And you come to expect that from him. And part of that, Chris, was, I will say this, it was part of that was the way he played the game. He stood in there and he took some vicious shots. He was a big, strong guy, and you couldn't get, when he was younger, Chris, you couldn't get him on the ground. He would take shot after shot and get the ball off. So, you know, and listen, I'll say this about Roethlisberger, Chris. The kid had heart. The kid had an arm. He could throw the ball. And listen, he's not Brady. But who is Brady? Nobody's Brady, right? Aaron Rodgers, as great as Aaron Rodgers is, Aaron Rodgers isn't Brady. Brady went to Tampa Bay, won a Super Bowl there too. He's got 7 rings. But you got to give Ben Roethlisberger his due. I think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Absolutely.
He won a Super Bowl. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think he's put his heart and soul into this league. He's put his body on the line. When he's 55, 60 years old, he's going to be taking pain pills to get out of bed in the morning because his body's going to be broken down. And you know what? He got up and he's putting it on the line again. He's probably taking him to the playoffs. So listen, Roethlisberger should get respect, Chris, for what he's done. He won a Super Bowl, one or 2 Super Bowls. You know, and I'm going to say this about Roethlisberger, Chris.
Well, hurry up because we're missing a lot of things we want to talk about.
What are we missing? We stink.
We want to talk about the matchups?
Yeah, we stink. What matchups? We're going to get our ass kicked next week. Matchups. Roethlisberger.
This isn't a Pittsburgh Steelers show.
Well, you asked me to respond. Roethlisberger had his coaches have stunk too, Chris. I think he's had poor coaches over there.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing I'm going to say. It's unfair to compare him to Brady because, yeah, Brady took care of his body. He was smart. He studied. There was nobody worked harder than Brady. Okay, he's out there. He's out there. Forget it. But Brady had the coaching. Brady had the guy coming out of college that taught him how to win. That taught him what was important. That discussed situational football. That met with him. That made him understand the work ethic needed. Roethlisberger only had a little bit of time with Cowher, and then he had Tomlin, who I think stinks as a coach. I think he stinks.
Cowher was a better coach than Tomlin.
He was. And I think Tomlin didn't do the things like Belichick would do necessary. That's why they're the 2 best ever. So I think it's unfair to compare him to Brady and the things Brady did. But, Mark, I put him in the same like as Aaron Rodgers, as Brett Favre. They're all Hall of Fame quarterbacks. As Brett Favre, as guys that were real good in the league, not like Johnson and Dilfer, guys that won Super Bowls, guys that were real good in the league, right, Mark? But only won once.
Yeah.
That isn't just Ben. That was the toughest son of a bitch to bring down, wasn't he?
He was. He's a good ball player.
So,
He's a good ball
Steven,
player.
listen, we appreciate the chat. Thank you for that. And listen, coming on the other side, Mark, we got to talk a little bit of matchup because we're going to fight about who we want to play. Joe, are you ready for break? I got to ask you now.
Yeah, we're ready, babe.
Let's do it. Go ahead.
It's that time again for a timeout from Pat's Nation for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. CORSO Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket, or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group. Now back to Pat's Nation.
$33-24 final score. Patriots, embarrassed by the Miami Dolphins yet again. And so we're back in. Those of you in the nation, we're happy to have you. And thanks for the Special Sauce podcast. Hey, they're paying attention too. Mark, they agree with you. Their Sunday stiff is Belichick as well. So the people out there agree with you, Mark. Okay, go ahead. Go down the list. Forget the NFC for a minute. Let's talk about the AFC picture as it stands at the moment, Mark. You have it. We need to hear you, though. That's the
So
only thing.
Tennessee's the 1 seed. They get a bye.
Yep.
Right? Obviously, Kansas City's the 2. Buffalo's the 3. Cincinnati now, because they lost, is the 4.
Right.
So
we're still sitting at 5.
So we're sitting at 5 still, which would put us against Cincinnati.
Right. Well, then the other 2 spots are going to be Pittsburgh's going to be 7, right?
Pittsburgh would be 7. They would go to Kansas City. And the Chargers would go to Buffalo.
Or Vegas. They play tonight for that.
Or Vegas.
So the winner of that game tonight is going to be sitting in either 5. If the Raiders win tonight, the Raiders kick the 5, New England kicks the 6. Pittsburgh can't move. So Roethlisberger's last game will be in Kansas City. Sorry, Steven. Right? That's how that shakes out. If San Diego, if the Chargers win, then the Chargers sit at 6, New England sits at 5. Okay, so at 5 you play Buffalo. At 5,
Raiders
you
are
play
winning
Cincinnati.
10-0, by the way.
Okay, I told you they were going to win this game tonight. So if you're going to get your wish, then. So if the Chargers win this game or come back and win, New England plays Cincinnati, Vegas, New England plays Buffalo. What do you want, Mark?
I want Buffalo. I've been telling you that for weeks. You think I'm crazy?
You are crazy.
Okay.
Why?
Because, Chris, I'm going to use your line.
And don't even give me that they're familiar with us. We're familiar with them. So are they. But go ahead.
I understand that. I'm going to use your line, the eye test. You always say the eye test. You don't pass the eye test. Buffalo doesn't pass the eye test for me, Chris. I've watched them now, not just against New England. I watched them the last month, 6 weeks. They don't pass. Tampa Bay went to sleep against them at Tampa Bay. That game was technically a blowout. They don't pass the eye test, Chris. I just don't see the obsession with this Buffalo team. And I understand we're not playing well. I honestly think we can go up there, play a close game, and maybe you got a shot in the 4th quarter to beat them.
Give me something more than just tell me why, though. Tell me what you're seeing in Buffalo is a comparison to Cincinnati. I'll tell you the eye test. They're wearing hats and T-shirts right now. That's the eye test, But tell me what you see in Buffalo.
Tell me what's so explosive about Buffalo's offense, Chris.
Well, let's see. We went back to Foxborough. We'll go back to 2 games ago.
Okay,
3 games
go back
ago?
and then I'll go back the game before that where we beat them in Buffalo.
So they have Diggs.
And then you're going to be one of those people who blame the weather.
Yeah, they have Diggs on one leg. Okay. As you said during today's game,
he's on one leg.
Fine, they had Diggs on one leg, and what he caught? He caught a touchdown, and he made J.C. Jackson look stupid on one leg in that game. And you said it on the post game that he did. So there's Diggs. They were missing Beasley. They were missing Davis. McKenzie made this secondary look completely foolish that night. Okay, so clearly they can throw the ball against us just like you think Cincinnati can throw the ball against us. Yes, Chase is not Diggs. I get it.
Cincinnati's on a different level. Their passing game's on a different level.
Fine. That's fine. But what happens when our inside linebackers suck so bad, okay? With Josh, we just agreed on this, that Josh Allen decides he's going to take off with the ball and he's going to run for 20-yard runs, 15, 30. That's what that guy's going to do to you up in Buffalo. He's going to take off and run, which they wouldn't do because the coach up there is a moron in that wind game where Josh Allen should have been more design runs for him. They're not going to make that same mistake again. That's why it bothers me to play. I think that offense can put up 30. I think they can put up 30 on this defense. We just chronicled why. And now, so flip to the other side and say, okay, what about the rest of the team? Well, their defense is better than Cincy's, I think. I know. And the fan base there, they're drooling. They want the Patriots. They want to slap us down and kick us down. And so doesn't Allen, and so doesn't the rest of that team. And they're not afraid of us. There's no Belichick mystique there. Nobody's going to wet themselves. And that's what's going that may be what happens versus the other side. Tell me what you don't. Tell me what the issues you have with playing Cincinnati.
Chris, Cincinnati, you just watched our secondary today, and our defense.
He only threw for 100 yards today, Mark. He threw for 100 yards today.
Chris, listen. Okay, listen. I'm not going to get into this with you. All I'm telling you is, Chris,
they want to hear it.
Because Chris, Cincinnati's going to throw for 450 yards. He's going to throw for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns against us. You think he's going to throw for Chris? He's going to throw for over 400 yards against our offense. He absolutely against our defense. If we go to Cincinnati, you mark my words, Burrow is going to throw for over 400 yards against. He's going to throw the ball all over the field.
Now, what happens if New England comes? I'm just going to ask you questions. What happens if New England comes up with a game plan, okay, to shorten the game, run the ball? Hold on. To run the ball on a Cincinnati defense who cannot stop the run, okay? Eat some clock.
Why Buffalo can stop the run?
Buffalo's a much better defense.
Can they stop the run? They stopped the run? What did they stop? They didn't stop anything in Buffalo.
They weren't going to stop the
Little Sisters of the Poor in Buffalo. What did they stop? They couldn't stop my grandmother in Buffalo. Who did they stop?
I think you got a better shot at Burrow wetting himself, the coach wetting himself, the rest of the team who's never been there. Yeah, Chase is a rookie too, by the way, and feeling that pressure of the playoffs. Oh, and by the way, you got
a rookie quarterback.
So it's an even playing field. And so as far as the experience goes.
You got none of your receivers have ever been in a playoff game. None of your running backs have ever been in a playoff game. None of your offense has been in a playoff game either. None of them.
Okay.
You want to talk about wetting your pants? You want to talk about wetting your pants? Mac Jones was hyperventilating against Buffalo.
Yeah, and what about the fans sitting up in the Cincinnati benches, those bleachers? Those people are waiting for something bad to happen. That's the culture there. They turn into Cincinnati.
Listen, as critical as you're being of Cincinnati, you're not being as critical of Buffalo. Buffalo, Chris, if you look at them.
I haven't gotten to that yet.
If you look at them, they have flaws. They've lost 6 games themselves. They lost 6 games themselves, right? And they were life and death on a couple of those other games. They could have lost 7 or 8 games if you go back and look at their schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. So they haven't lit the world on fire this year at all.
No, I'll give you that. They have.
There was a point in the middle of the season, Chris, it didn't even look like they were making the playoffs.
And if they were playing
all of a sudden, everybody thinks Buffalo, oh, here we are again on Buffalo. They're unbeatable. Nobody wants to play Buffalo. I want to play Buffalo because I think, as I've said in the past, and I'll say it again, when the money's on the line, Josh Allen, you want to talk about wetting yourself, Josh Allen, when the money's on the line, will wet himself. He has shown it over and over and over again, and he did it in Foxborough 2 weeks ago. He hit J.C. Jackson in the middle of the numbers, and the idiot dropped the ball and said, oh, I got to focus more and be more prepared. He hit him in the center. He hit him in between the numbers. The ball's inside the 20 with a chance to take the lead with 6 minutes to go in that football game. Okay? He wet himself. We didn't take advantage of him wetting himself. You're talking about Cincinnati wetting himself. Cincinnati hasn't shown that they haven't shown us that yet. There's no track record of Joe Burrow wetting himself yet. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll throw up all over himself and they'll get beat by 5 touchdowns. I don't know. But there's no track record of that. There's a track record of Buffalo. I can see what Allen does. There's a history of what Josh Allen does when there's pressure.
AFC Championship game last year.
And And he wet himself in the AFC Championship game. He wet
Yeah,
himself.
against Kansas, and he will again against Kansas City if he plays again. I get it. I agree with you. Okay,
And
listen,
he
I understand their deficiencies. I
telling
get
you.
it. I get why
Buffalo isn't what you think they are. They're not what everybody thinks they are. Buffalo, I'm going to go on the record, will never win a Super Bowl with Josh Allen as the quarterback. I want to all my Buffalo fans, you can chime in, call in,
Fish.
get on the
Let
fish.
them know what you think.
I want to hear from the Fish. They will never win a Super Bowl with that guy as quarterback. Put that in writing.
But are we talking
won't
about
happen.
winning a Super Bowl, or are we talking about beating a Patriots team who's limping into the playoffs? The inside linebackers suck. They can check down to anybody in the center of the field, and Josh Allen could destroy you running the ball. Okay? So, I mean, you know, and again, I'm not saying Cincinnati can't put up points, and maybe won't. I don't know. Okay, but I'd rather take my chances with them being an unknown. Okay, and having to have. Because we say we want to Belichick, because the bitching we do about Belichick, it's got to do with the draft and all that stuff. Yeah. But he's still a football mind. He still does things to rookie coaches that I've never. Look what he did to McVay in the Super Bowl. My God. I mean, you know, he gets guys on the other side to do stupid stuff, Mark. And when Cincinnati does something stupid, the place would be like somebody put a pin in it. And it all comes crumbling down.
Well, I will say this, Chris. If you're going to get Cincinnati, you better get them now, because that offense is going to be the next. Next year, they will be the next Kansas City Chief offense. They're just going to roll over teams next year if they stay healthy. They have that many weapons, and the whole team's coming back. They don't have a free agent. All the wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, quarterback, the entire team's coming back on offense. They will be the Kansas City Chiefs next year on offense. I'm not saying defense. They're going to bring in players on defense. But on offense, that team will pretty much be unstoppable next year on offense.
All right, well, let's get to our 2-minute warning, because then we got to come back and we got to talk about our possible broadcast schedule, because we have no idea what time and when we're going to be playing. So we may know who, but we don't know when. So, Mark, let's get to 2-minute warning, because I want your predictions. So right now, Joe. So just in case we don't have, a pregame show, we can't get our picks out, they play Cincinnati. What do you got for a score?
37-27 Cincinnati.
Okay. Buffalo.
27-23 New England.
Okay. For me, I got the Patriots I got 30-27 against Cincinnati. The Patriots win that game. And if we play Buffalo, I got 27-10. 27-10. Buffalo wins that game.
All right.
That's what I have. So, well, Mark, another exciting post-game show, and it's our last one of the regular season. Let's hope we have a few more, right, Mark?
I hope. Listen, I hope we can. Listen, I don't care who we play next week. As long as we don't embarrass ourselves and they play a good game from start to finish. If you get beat late by a better team and you played a good game, Chris, I'll be okay with that. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, and I feel like if we can win this playoff game next week, successful season as far as I'm concerned. I would have liked to see him get to the 11 wins like you wanted, but they pretty much were right there in the win-loss is what we thought they would be. So, yeah, let's see what happens there. I want to thank everybody throughout the whole season for all the chats, all the call-ins, all the fun you guys all made it out there. So thank you for that. We'll be back with you, of course. But, Mark, some people to thank tonight. I want to thank the good people over at Special Sauce Podcast. Watch your Special Sauce, specialsaucepodcast.com, Jag Media Productions. The good people at Studio 42 Designs, studio42designs.com, and Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm, corsolawgroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. Okay, Joe, here's what we have. Here's what we know, okay? Mark, we know. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I can't even read that.
Can't even read it.
Can you read that? Can anybody read that right now? Well, let me see if I can make sense of it right now, okay? There are some spots. Okay, let's talk about. Mark's got his glasses on. Can you even read that?
Put your readers on, everybody.
Okay. Here's the possible situations. Okay, and Saturday will ring true for both Corso and Catone, the Real Deal New England Feel, and the Pats Nation. We may be combining these in a crossover. The possible times to play on Saturday will be 4:35 Eastern, okay, as a kickoff, and 8:15 Eastern. So we don't know if Patriots will be in any one of those spots. However, if they are in the 4:30 spot, Corso and Catone and Pat's Nation will going to be live 30 minutes following the game as a complete post game. And Mark and I will have all your coverage, and maybe we'll have a little Catone's comments we'll throw in there too on the live post game show. If it's an 8:15 game, and listen, if it's an 8:15 game at all, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we will be live with a pregame show, 6 p.m. Eastern. 6 p.m. Eastern, we will be on with a live pregame show. On Saturday, we'll combine it with Corso and Catone, and that's how Saturday will work. Right, Mark, you wanted this to get more confusing now? Here it is. Sunday, January 16th, 3 time slots, 105, 440, 8:15. We already talked about 8:15. They play at 105, normal situation. Corso and Catone, live, not live. Corso and Catone, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Pat's Nation, live post-game show, 30 minutes following that game, as well as the 440 start. Post-game show, Pat's Nation, 30 minutes following that game. So Sunday's pretty simple. It's either going to be a post-game show live or it's going to be a pre-game show live. Make sure you tune in, either 6 p.m. or 30 minutes following the game. And Monday night will be the same thing. Live pre-game show, 6 p.m. Eastern. Joe, how did I do?
Did well. Just tell people that, if they subscribe and turn on their notifications, they should get a notification that we're on.
And Mark's going to, Mark, you'll tweet something out, right, on this?
I'll tweet something once we know what, once we know a schedule.
What we're doing.
We should know tonight, Chris, I think.
Oh, we're going to know tonight. Yeah.
Once this game ends.
Paul Hopkins can read it.
You can read it.
Can read it.
I can't read anything. Well, listen, hey, Mark, I will tell you this. If it's a Buffalo, what I'm hearing, okay, is if New England's playing Buffalo, it'll most likely be Monday night. And if that's the case, live pregame show, 6 p.m. Eastern, and Mark can tell you all the reasons why the Patriots are going in there, and it won't even be an upset. It'll be what should happen. Right, Mark?
That's right. That's absolutely. Listen, you think I'm crazy. All right.
All right. Well, listen, that's all we got tonight. Final score is 33-24 for Mark Catone, Joe Guarnieri. I'm Chris Corso. We're ready for the playoffs. So long, everyone.